Hi, my name is Rob, and today I will talk about how wetlands purify water. And I may break this up into a couple of videos. I think possibly three, maybe more. Wetlands are complex, and there's a lot to talk about in how wetlands purify water. So that's what I'll be talking about today. And I have uh, the report Back to Basics because it is a report from the former Environmental Commissioner of Ontario, which on page 9, oh, not page 9, um, maybe it's not page 9. Yes, page 9. Uh, Called The Value of Wetlands. So they purify water by filtering out nutrients, sediments, and pollutants from groundwater and surface runoff before discharging it to other water bodies. So from this, we know that wetlands purify water, or they have an effect. And this is an independent report that was submitted to the legislature of Ontario. And this is from Delaware, which says, I think it's the government of Delaware. The article is called "Wetlands Purify." Wetlands purify all water by removing sediments and other pollutants, including chemicals. They filter and process excess nutrients that may run off from agricultural and development sites. Wetlands, it says they hold on to water long enough to allow the sediments and other pollutants to settle out. And then there's additional information. Oh, I didn't click. Oh, okay. That's highlighted. So with this, I know that velocity and gravity impact wetlands. The larger wetland is going to there's differences between constructed and natural wetlands as well. So yeah, there's calculations that can be done to determine when when a contaminant, such as phosphorus or some kind of metal, will settle out, or suspended solids. There's also other factors at play, which I'll get into. So that's one thing. Gravity settled out. That implies a gravitational force. And it's similar to water treatment. If you screen out um, large materials, that's the known as primary treatment in wastewater. That's important to do as well. Those usually in constructed wetlands. Um, yeah, I think I'll focus on constructed wetlands for this video, um, and yeah, in constructed wetlands, there's usually some kind of pre-treatment. And then the wetlands, um, the wetlands add um, um, treatment so that the end effluent, what exits, is meeting regulations. Um, in some places that are more rural, rely more heavily on uh, wetlands than others. And there's I found the government of Canada has a fact sheet on constructed wetlands. Surface flow wetlands best mimic natural conditions. There's a lot of anaerobic conditions, so some chemicals are changed by a lack of oxygen. Some chemicals are changed and interact with the environment with oxygen. So there's a lot of oxidization calculations that can be done, or that is done for a lot of wetlands. Um, there's also vertical flow wetlands as well. So constructed wetlands are also known as treatment wetlands. Um, so water flows down. It gets trapped by vegetation, and this is from the United States Environmental Protection Agency. It slows down, and the suspended solids become more trapped by vegetation, and they settled out, and then other plants are transformed into less soluble forms or become inactive. And then those microorganisms that the wetlands are attracted to, and then they also help change the water. Did I highlight? Oh, and then there's like considerations for wetlands. It's important to avoid contamination of the natural wetlands as well. Yeah, and then those different types of wetlands. Those are bog, fen, marsh, and swamp. Those are the main types of wetlands, at least in Ontario. Um, and um, they have different chemical characteristics as well. Um, and they're all worth talking about individually. I could make a separate video on each of the types of wetlands. Um, so there's a fact sheet. Oh, I skipped that. I found a manual constructed wetland treatment of municipal wastewaters. Oh, this is from 1999. So it might be a little bit of outdated, but the concepts are still there. I should also note that it's replacing the wetland is very difficult to do, and a wetland for treatment is different than a wetland for habitat creation, as two examples. And natural wetlands are typically better at doing at having functions that people value, and also they should exist on their own without the need of value. There's a lot of philosophical questions ideas regarding wetlands. Let's see, where was I going with this? Yeah, so that's but this manual talks about some of the processes of wetlands. Oh, I think I was at 42 page 42. So I'll focus on chapter 3, removal mechanisms and modeling performance of constructed wetlands. So this manual says that there's two mechanisms at work in treatment systems: liquid solid separations and constituent transformations. Separation, and then it says they typically include gravity separation, filtration, absorption. So that's the uptake from plants, and adsorption. So that adheres to a plant, for example, or something else. There's ion exchange, stripping, and leaching. So ion exchange is like dealing with the atoms, and there's oxidization, which is the change of electrons and adding an oxygen atom. So the first one is suspended solids. a lot of wetlands treatment of wetlands are high in organic content. So suspended solids. So suspended solids are removed and also produced by the natural wetland processes. Um, and then there's a lot of physical mechanisms such as flocculation. So that's building up larger and larger particles, sedimentation, filtration, and interception. And that's similar to in wastewater treatment. In wastewater, they add chemicals to uh, add combine particles. um, so those gravity, um, different particle sizes, all influenced by gravity and viscosity. There's also, yeah, this is saying that the relative movement of target particles is um, there was collisions between the particles, and then those. So it is impacted by velocity. There's a diagram. Total suspended solids can come from um, the plants. They can be settled from the plants at the bottom. So the plants can uptake um, some of the chemicals. Different plants have different rate of absorption or absorption. Absorption is taking up. Absorption. Um, so the plants would be carefully selected depending on what's generally in the water that you want to purify. Um, this article, this manual is also saying that the sun can treat water as well, ultraviolet rays. Um, so that's similar principle to like using ozone. Um, yeah. So and then this is saying that uh, flocculation may require a chemical coagulant. There's also like electric charges that can be um, different soils, different plants. Um, they can impact what gets um, what gets adhered to. Um, chemicals change. This is talking about absorption. Specific gravity gets mentioned throughout this manual. And then it's talking about like algae algae cells for water systems receiving pond effluent. Some algae cells they die, or there's a lot of sunlight, and they will settle. Um, and then there's emulgent vegetation. Um, there's different types of wetland plants. I might make a separate video about that. And there's filtration. And it's saying that it's not likely a significant factor in surface wetlands. Interception and adhesion of particles on plant surfaces could be a significant mechanism for removal. So, like in the constructed wetlands, plants would be harvested and disposed of, likely, and then replanted every so often. And then sometimes there's like resuspension of chemicals. Yeah, so this is like what I mean when like those like calculations. So like you can determine the total suspended solids and the length of time something contaminant will be needed to be in the wetland for it to be um, reduced to an acceptable level. Yeah, so I think there's more to look at in this with regards to wetlands. Also, the size makes a big difference. I learned that there's a Waterloo study that said that small wetlands are better at reducing phosphorus loads. I'll have to refresh my memory on what the conclusions were, and but the shape of wetlands makes a difference. These are natural wetlands, and wetlands are generally at risk of development from policies, legislation that doesn't value the importance of wetlands. For it's not just purifying water, but all the actions that wetlands do. So yeah, I'll make another video. Um, this manual is um, over 100 pages. um, yeah, so I hope to see you again, and um, yeah, I'll talk more about wetlands or other environmental uh, topics in another video. Enjoy the rest of your day.